this is Carlos GGS from Guitar Guide Secrets. I wanted to take a quick moment and give you a quick review of the EVH series, or they call them the Striped Series actually, of Eddie Van Halen guitars, of which I decided to pick up this one. It's always been my favorite pattern. I think it's on the cover of the first album where he's holding it up and he's just kind of screaming. And it's a great pose, it's a great picture. And a little bit of trivia, by the way, go online at some point and check into the original cover for the first Van Halen album. It's hysterical, and you'll be so glad they went with the one they did. The guitar itself is a Fender make, and it has that Fender feel to it. It also has that super strat feel, which is what Eddie kind of pioneered, which is cobbling together a guitar that just has everything you need, but it's also very minimalist. As you can tell, there's only one pickup in this bad boy, and quite frankly, that's all I ever really need. I almost never play with a rhythm pickup if I have it, and in most of my guitars I've actually cut the wire to the rhythm pickup so that it doesn't interfere with the sound that I want. And of course, that's going to vary for you. If you're a blues player, you might need that ability to jump down into the rhythm pickup, but for the most part, I play it right at the treble. I'll give you a quick rundown of the features and then my quick first impressions of the guitar, and I'll give you more after I've had a chance to play with it for a while. Features of the guitar, of course, standard lock nut, Floyd Rose tremolo system. This is the one that is what they call blocked. What it means is that the tremolo itself does not float. You can't do the fluttery Steve Vai stuff in there because it actually sits on the body. Okay, it's also very low profile and thin. It's not your typical Floyd Rose setup. It feels a little bit shorter. So slightly different machines, but again, it's got that standard Floyd Rose feel. He's also got a D-Tuna on it, and what this allows you to do is go from standard E, low E, drop the bad boy right down into drop D tuning just by disengaging down there at the bridge. And it's a very easy process. It's a very simple process to engage and disengage that. Pop it in, your E is E, pop it out, your E is now a D. It's very cool, very simple, and very effective. And amazingly very reliable. It's very consistent. Every time I've popped in and out with that bad boy, it sounds just right in terms of tuning. And as you know, I'm very particular about my tuning. Now, I happen to swap out a Seymour Duncan in the bridge position on this. The one that Eddie pops into this thing is not what I would call a quality pickup. Typically, I like to go with a little bit higher gain, and there was just far too much interference and noise being picked up with it. And of course, I know that Seymour Duncan's put out a standard good pickup. I think this is an SH6B or 5B. I can never remember what it is anymore. But good pickup. I may eventually switch that out with DiMarzios because, as you may have seen in other videos, that's my current path. I'm just loving the DiMarzio sound. And what else about this guitar do you need to know? Not a heck of a lot more, quite honestly. It's got your joke, well, I wouldn't call it a joke, but it was kind of an inside joke. The volume knob is labeled tone, because the joke is, of course, who uses the tone knob on a guitar anyways? And Eddie used to say that you actually are using your volume knob as a tone knob. So that's what it's called, and that's all you get. One knob, no pickup selector switch, no need for it, and minimalist electronics in this bad boy at all. Now, my quick impression of it, for you guys that are wondering, hey, is it a good guitar? Do I want to play something like this? Well, first of all, I got it because I really love this pattern. I don't typically buy guitars that are the endorsed kind, the ones that are somebody's special custom tribute make or whatever, but this one I've always loved the pattern, so I figured, what the heck. And the one thing I will tell you about this is the build on it is a bit cheap. Not meaning that the parts are cheap, it's put together as though somebody really didn't care quite so much about the quality of the guitar they were putting out. I believe it's made in the Mexican Fender plant, which, you know, I'm not saying Mexicans putting together a guitar is either good or bad. It just so happens that at that plant, there's been a lot of complaints about the quality of the builds coming out of it. What are you going to do about that? I don't know. I mean, you could say that he should have moved it to Asia, but I have no idea which would have worked out better. So without bringing race into this whole thing, I don't know. All I can tell you is they're not caring quite as much, because what happened initially, and you'll notice that the 3 pads on my lock nut here are different color. That's because the ones that were given, or ones that were already on it, were not holding the strings down. And I was putting a pretty damn good tightening on those locks. I was plucking up here at the string and bending the string here, and you could hear it basically the string was slipping through the nut. Do with that what you will, but that's unacceptable for me. It needs to be totally locked and maintain tuning. That's the one thing we expect out of a Floyd Rose. The other part was that the bolts for this is a bolt through lock nut, as you can see by the 2 bolt holes back here. The bolts were not completely tightened as well, and that had nothing to do with the slipping. It was just not tightened. So this needed a good QC check before it got shipped out, which unfortunately it didn't get. I also put in a little bit extra work lubricating the bridge back here, making sure the strings could slip the way they needed to slip. Other than that little lock issue, but the lock nut issue did peeve me for quite a few days. Other than that, the guitar itself feels great. It's got a good weight to it. The neck feels great. I like the unfinished feel. It's the way I started playing, was on an unfinished neck, so I guess I'm used to it. And the body itself is good quality. Pretty much everything on here seems to be a pretty good quality. Like I said, it just comes down to you may find some imperfections that you may have to correct a little bit later on. Should that stop you from buying this? I don't think so. I think most guitarists out there are willing to put up with a little bit to get a good, or even sometimes considered great guitar. And this guitar is definitely a solid performer, and I'm looking forward to playing it quite a bit coming up. So there you go, quick overview of the EVH Striped Series of Eddie Van Halen guitars. If you're looking to, buy this guitar just to sound like Eddie Van Halen, don't do that, because as we know, the true sound of any great guitarist comes out of the fingers, not the instrument. Eddie could pick up one of my guitars and still sound more like Eddie than I could on his guitar, if you know what I mean. If you have any other questions about this guitar, by all means, comment below. And if you want to know the #1 guitar practice hack that you need to know to get better faster, then by all means, go down there. Go to guitargodsecrets.com/free video. That's guitargodsecrets.com/free video to get your free video expose on the #1 practice tip you need to get better faster. This is Carlos GGS from Guitar God Secrets. What else can I say? Live to play, play to live.